What's up YouTube, it's your boy Mike here from PeoplesChoiceGaming, and today I got a breakdown for you of the new sidearm revolver, the Magnus. Now basically guys, this weapon is a lot like the Vasto. At first glance you're going to notice different variations in all the different fields for stats, but in the end both weapons really equal out for all factions. And if you want me to really explain more to you on why that happens, message me and I can definitely do that for you guys. But one thing you'll notice is basically the Magnus starts off with more in impact and the Vasto starts off with more in slash. So you would think, the Vasto is better for infested, the Magnus is better for corpus. But honestly, the truth is, the Vasto also has more overall damage than the Magnus. So even though the Vasto has less impact than the Magnus does, if you were going up against corpus and you had a full build, you'd have to understand that since the Vasto has more overall damage, it's going to have a higher elemental combo damage than the Magnus, which is going to equal out for the fact that it has less impact than the Magnus. So in the end, Vasto is going to be about equal for corpus and Grineer when it comes to damage compared to the Magnus. But for infested, the Vasto is going to be better. So, two questions I always get asked. Should I get this weapon? Is it a good weapon? Yes and yes. It's a good weapon. All the stats are average or above average. It handles itself fine all the way up to Pluto, and you get mastery. Now for the other question I always get asked, do I really need this weapon? Magnus, versus Vasto, and should I get this weapon if I got the Vasto? My answer is no. The reason is, once you work all the stats out, now you got to work all of them out and compare them with both weapons, which I've already done it all. Basically, you're going to have two equal weapons for pretty much all factions, and even you're going to be slightly better against infested with the Vasto. Now because of that, there's just no reason to get the Magnus, so that's why I say no. Now before I get to the breakdown of how to best mod the Magnus for level 30 build against corpus, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Magnus. It's got more damage and impact and a good overall base damage. It's got a nice 20% status. It's got a 2-second reload. It has 8 rounds in each clip. It's got a 20% crit chance and a 2 crit damage multiplier. So those are all pretty good stats. And that's another big thing different with the Magnus over the Vasto. It's got a 2 multiplier. Vasto only has a 1.5. It's got a 20% crit chance. Vasto only has a 15% crit chance. But honestly, the crit is still pretty low for both of them. And the fact that with the other stats being different and the Vasto had more overall damage, once again, they about equal out. Now, before I get to the breakdown, my last verdict is what would be the best revolver I would rather use, and that answer would be the dual Vastos, because a shoot 'em up playstyle is best for all these weapons, especially since the Magnus and the Vasto have such a high recoil, which I didn't mention recoil. The Magnus has a pretty high recoil, and it's pretty identical to the Vasto's recoil. And the dual Vastos shoot a lot faster, and they have a lot more starting off in each clip. They start off with 12 in each clip, or 17 with Ice Storm. So you're going to be able to kill a lot more enemies a lot quicker with the dual Vastos. And they have a decent bullet spread with a lot nicer of a recoil when you're firing fast. So honestly, dual Vastos way over the Vasto and the Magnus. And as far as the Magnus and the Vasto go, they're pretty much equal after you work out, everything. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into that breakdown. So for those of you that do get the Magnus, I can show you how to best mod it for corpus. Alright guys, when it comes to modding your Magnus for a level 30 Catalyst build for corpus, you're going to want to start off with Hornet Strike, Lethal Torrent, and Barrel Diffusion as always. Get Hornet Strike all the way to the top, but if you can't, that's completely fine. And then you're going to want to go with your best elemental combo, which is Magnetic, which will give you a 75% bonus against shields and a 50% bonus against robotic, which is going to be electricity and ice. I put Ice Storm on over Deep Freeze, even though Deep Freeze does 20% more damage, because the extra 3 rounds you get from Ice Storm is definitely better DPS wise, and it's just more useful. And then lastly, you can either put a pistol gambit on to bring your crit chance up to 44%, or you could put that full deep freeze on. They're actually going to do the same damage in the end, so it doesn't really matter which one you do. And if you wanted to use this weapon on Corpus or Infested, all you're going to do is, for Grenier, switch out Ice Storm with your Pathogen rounds, which is your Poison mod or Toxic mod. And for Infested, you're going to want to switch out Convulsion with the Heated Charge mod. And that's it. Alright guys, hope you all enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I know the whole video was a little bit longer, but I really wanted to break down all the the differences between the revolvers to really help you guys out. So remember to check out my Twitch. The link's going to be in the description, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.